What's up, folks? I got a hell of a show for you today. I got Jerome Corsi visiting me here in the corner. He's going to be on the corner with Nino. He's in the back right now, and we're going to be discussing everything Obama. Now, if you know about this guy, Jerome Corsi, really well-respected researcher, conspiracy theorist, who's been proven right time and time again. One of the first people to question Obama's birth certificate and team up with Sheriff Powell. And I'm going to get into all this with Jerome. We're going to be talking about Obama, the coming arrest, immunity. Does he have immunity? What about being impeached? Does it take away his immunity? We're going to be discussing all that. This guy knows everything you need to know about Obama. Before I get started, folks, notifications. Hit the notifications button. Share, like, and subscribe, do all those nice things for me. Help me help you, baby. Yeah. And then Venmo is D-Rod1977, D-Rod1977. When the lights go out on Amazon. That's my book I wrote with my thumb on my iPhone. Took me about a little over a month. It took me about a month, a little under a month, actually, I think. But finished it, and it's up on Amazon. No, I didn't have a ghostwriter or nothing like that. Also, my mama's book, The Mexican Mix. Folks, I got to tell you something. I'm doing something different. I'm giving her these drops, C60. Everyone knows my mom's suffering from severe dementia, and it's helping. This is C60 anti-inflammatory. I've been taking them under the tongue. You do so like this. You just get the dropper full. Under the tongue, takes out this is a mind expander. Blood-brain barrier goes right through it all. Gets rid of inflammation. I laid off this stuff for about 5 months. I was off this stuff for about 5 months. Got back on it. My back feels unbelievable. At first, I thought it was all in my mind. It's not. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Takes out inflammation like that. I mean, I would say stay on it for about three days to a week. You're going to notice significant results. My pain went from an 8 to 9 to a 2 to a 3. Like and I've been doing it all. Teeter hang-ups, hanging upside down on the teeter inversion table. This stuff's been doing the best stuff for me. I was off it 5 months, just got back on it, and within a week and a half, my pain is gone. So go figure. I don't know. And I'm also giving it to my mom, and I'm noticing results. Incredible stuff. C60, Eon C60. Use code Nino, baby. Use code Nino. Get started on it. The only thing you have to lose is pain. That's it. Just the pain. Also, folks, trim with Nino, baby. Yeah, get your trim. A recent study found nearly half of patients following popular weight loss trends quit within a year, often use lower than prescribed doses, and ultimately lost less weight than they were led to believe. This is why I use this secret and amazing new product, and I'm obsessed with the results, folks. It is designed to naturally support my body's own GLP-1 production and boost levels by over 50% without drugs, prescriptions, or needles. It promotes safety and feelings of fullness, reduces cravings, reduces my hunger, hormones, helps me lose fat instead of muscle, and supports healthy blood sugar levels. Summer is here. It's time to get that beach body ready. You should have had it already. Grab yourself a bottle of GLP-1 now to save up to 44% only at Trim with Nino. Trimwithnino.com. Plus, you also get 2 free ebooks titled The 3-Week Diet and 53 Fat-Burning Smoothies and Milkshakes. Yes, folks, I do everything I peddle here, so it's worth it. I'd say give it a shot. I'm going to go ahead and set my ghetto timer for the mid-roll. And if you're on Facebook and on X, please know we'll be cutting the feed just using YouTube. Jerome Corsi is going to be on this program in just a second. He's in the back room waiting, so let me get down to this. Half off on ninoscorner.tv, half off on ninoscorner.tv, half off yearly, half off monthlies right now. I'm going to pull the plug on it anytime. I could pull it today, or I may wait till tomorrow or the next day. I don't know, but it's only a limited time. Half off all monthlies, half off all yearlies. Your best bet is probably to get a yearly. It's only like 20-something bucks. General's tent is 107. 107 will be in the General's tent on the 30th, July 30th, 5 p.m. I'm even going to have Jerome Corsi I think we're booked for August or September, and he'll be a general in the general's tent. I think I asked him to do that already. Folks, Nino's Corner.tv, Wano Saban, the Ghost, Lieutenant Douglas Deaton is up there. Sean Taylor talking about mortgage fraud and Adam Schiff. I got Daniel Brinkley coming on, General Flynn, and Bo Pony will be back up real soon. And without further ado, folks, you might want to turn it down or turn it up, baby. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. Coming at you live from the apocalypse, baby. Yeah. Let's go. All right, folks. Big show today. Big show today. A lot is happening. The war of the narratives are happening. Ghislaine Maxwell drops 100 names. Trump and Flynn hint at an Obama takedown. So I've said this many times on my show. I've said Russiagate would break first. I've said that. I'm time-stamped. You can go back months and months and months and months ago. I keep saying it. Russiagate will pop first. It's here, and it's getting louder by the day, but no louder than the Epstein scandal connecting Trump. So it's the narrative wars that are happening right now. The MSN has cleverly intercepted the TV, internet, radio waves, and is drowning out anything regarding Obama. Or is this a Trump trick play, which I sense that it is. They're doing everything they can to take your eye off the ball. Obama fabricated Russia hoax. It's now, Jerome's going to be talking a lot about this. And as many of you are claiming, Obama will have immunity, but we're going to find that out right now. We're going to find out from Jerome Powell, will Obama have immunity? I've heard different things on this. I've heard he's not going to. I heard if he gets impeached, he definitely will not have immunity. Obama could get impeached over Russiagate, stripping his immunity under SCOTUS ruling. But as this develops, what Hail Marys are they throwing at us? Well, the Hail Marys that the deep state's throwing at us is the Trump connection with Epstein, which I believe will backfire. They will beat this narrative into your heads until it's all you think about and talk about. But now Ghislaine wants her voice to be heard among all the noise. As Democrats scream for the Epstein list to be revealed publicly, could Ghislaine hold the key to Trump's vindication? Or could she bury him? Could she bury him, or is she going to vindicate him? I have a feeling she's going to vindicate him. My personal opinion is Trump is playing the trick card on purpose, and the Democrats took the bait. Now, that's just how I see it. Trump fumes as Epstein scandal dominates headlines, overshadows agenda. President Trump is increasingly frustrated with how his administration's handling of the furor around the Jeffrey Epstein files has dominated the news and overshadowed his agenda, and two people familiar with his thinking. His exasperation follows weeks of missteps and no clear strategy. Now, remember, folks, this is a liberal syndicate that I'm reading right now. They want you to believe that Trump's in hot water. He's going down. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. They think this is the end. This is the narrative war. They're trying to get you to believe that whatever's coming out with Obama is just a distraction from what's really happening with Trump. Trump is connected to Epstein, and that's where the real story is. Couldn't be further from the truth. The real story is Obama. We got to pay attention to that. Keep our eyes on the ball, and Jerome Corsi is going to help me with that today. So as this transpires, as this keeps going, you're going to see more and more of the narrative wars. What's going to be the key to this, in my opinion, is going to be Ghislaine Maxwell. Ghislaine Maxwell, like I said, is either going to vindicate Trump or bury him. But I got a feeling, as all of you do, and I'm sure Jerome does too, it's going to vindicate him. Well, who are the 100 names? Who are these 100 people? Celebrities, politicians, and I bet you there's a hell of a lot more coming where that came from. Masked leftists are protesting outside CBS, demanding the Late Show with Stephen Colbert be relaunched. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that video where he was traumatizing a child, but I did, and I think it has to do with that. I think it has more to do with that than anything. We are here to resist the fascist oligarchs. So, masked Antifa, masked protesters outside CBS studios demanding they give Stephen Colbert back his job. But I'm going to tell you right now, I bet you Jimmy Kimmel's next. That's the way I see it. That's how I see all of this playing out, folks. General Flynn prepares public for the coming storm. The deep state's biggest mistake was thinking they could take me down. They targeted me thinking they could silence me, but all they did was unleash a storm they couldn't control. Their so-called prosecution was nothing but a desperate attempt to protect their corrupt empire, and now the truth is exploding in their faces. The American people are fed up, and the demand for justice is louder than ever. Louder than ever. To those who thought they could bury me, I say you underestimated the fight in me and the spirit of the American people. Stay tuned, because the storm is just beginning, and it will be epic. That's direct words from General Flynn. Now I'm going to be bringing on Jerome Corsi. Jerome, are you there? Jerome Corsi.
I'm right here, ready to go.
Yeah. You like my entertainment? You like the entertaining ads and stuff?
Yeah, well, of course.
A little different. But, well, you know, I'm going to read this one last thing. I want to get your opinion on it. Trump calls for the prosecution of Kamala Harris, Beyonce, and Oprah in a shocking post. You're not allowed to pay for an endorsement. President Donald Trump is calling for former Vice President Kamala Harris, Beyonce, Oprah, and Reverend Al Sharpton to be criminally prosecuted for alleged campaign finance violations. In a shocking post on Truth Social late Saturday, the president accused Beyonce, Oprah, and Sharpton of improperly taking money from the Harris campaign. Here is Trump's post in full. He says, and I'm saying arrest Kamala Harris, but he's saying, I'm looking at the large amount of money owed by the Democrats after the presidential election, and the fact that they admit to paying probably illegally, $11 million to singer Beyonce for an endorsement. She never sang not one note and left the stage to a booing and angry audience. $3 million for expenses, too. Oprah, $600,000 to a very low-rated TV anchor. Al Sharpton, a total lightweight, and others to be named for doing absolutely nothing. These ridiculous fees were incorrectly stated in the books and records. You are not allowed to pay for an endorsement. It is totally illegal to do so. Can you imagine what would happen if politicians started paying for people to endorse them? All hell would break out. Kamala and all those that received endorsement money broke the law. They should all be prosecuted. Thank you for your attention to this matter. It seems to me, Jerome, things are picking up speed really fast. And whenever Trump puts out a Truth Social post like this, he means business, and we should be keeping an eye on these people. Do you agree?
I agree entirely. I mean, Trump is not messing around with this at all. He's determined. I think that the targets Trump has in mind right now are Obama, Hillary, and Kamala. And I'd add Biden to the list. I think Biden, too, is going to be in for a lot more disclosures, a lot more grief over many things, including, his role with Burisma and Ukraine. All that's going to come out. There's just so much to investigate here that it's going to take years to unravel all this. But I do believe there's going to be indictments. I think there's going to be high-level indictments.
Do you've been an Obama critic for your entire career. That's really how people know you, right? I mean, you were one of the brave souls that came out and really put this out there in the public. And you got a lot of harsh criticism, and you were called a lot of harsh names for doing so. It was very unpopular when you were doing it. But everything you brought out to the public has turned out to be true. Especially now.
It's all been true.
Yeah, I mean, and here it is.
So, even as to in 2020, I published a book on Obama, and called Coup d'etat. I was calling it the whole Russian collusion. This is all about the Russian collusion hoax, and I was calling it a coup d'etat in 2020. And this book contains much of what you're finding now being revealed. I really was able to pull together a lot of the threads that we're just now finding out about back in 2020. That's 5 years ago.
So you were ahead of the ball back then. What tipped you off to this? Were you one of the first ones that brought out the birth certificate scandal?
Yeah.
I know you teamed up with Sheriff Joe Arpaio, correct?
Yeah, I wrote a book called Where's the Birth Certificate? And that book was coming out in 2011. You can find the cover of that. I can pull it off the shelf here too. But that book was coming out in 2011, and it was the reason why the Obama White House, to preempt this book, it was why they released the long-form birth certificate they said was Obama's. But again, it turned out to be a forgery. And I found in Hawaii the birth certificate, a legitimate birth certificate from which Obama's had been copied. Where's the birth certificate. That book was out in 2011.
So,
it was the reason Obama released his so-called birth certificate.
let me ask you this, Jerome. I mean, when you did this, like I said, it was insanely unpopular. You were looked at very negatively. You saw what's the name of her? The lady that said that Michelle was Joan Rivers. There she is, Joan Rivers. When she came out and talked about Michelle, she was gone, and within a couple weeks time.
Yeah, she was gone.
Were you worried about anything happening to you, or you just said, "Forget it, I got to do what's right for the country"?
Well, I've never really been worried about it because, first of all, I believe God will take me back whenever it's my time. So when it's my time, there's nothing I'll be able to do to prevent it. It'll just happen. Okay, and I fully expect that will be the case for all of us.
Right.
But the point is, when you do what I do, you can't worry about that. You just, and the only way I've ever kept myself safe is when I have some information, I publish it. So I'm not withholding it or saying there's going to be a big reveal or anything of that nature. When the people who tease information that's going to be released are putting themselves into jeopardy, because if they're then eliminated, that information might be lost. Okay, gotcha. So we can think of famous cases like Dorothy Kilgallen, who said she had information on the JFK assassination, and she was suspiciously dead within a couple of days. And Joan Rivers, right. Again, who teased all of this.
Be careful on FluffTube, though, on YouTube, because there's certain.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go into the detail. Yeah. But these are things. What you're saying right there. It's still being censored today. It's from 2011, and so that's what 14 years we've had where the reality that Obama's birth certificate. I found the one in Hawaii from which his has been copied, and Sheriff Arpaio validated that with forensic work from two well-respected international forensic laboratories. So there's no doubt that, we have yet to see an authentic birth certificate for Barack Obama.
So where we're at right now, by the way, the first winner was, who was it, Alex? Choco Mason. Thank you, Choco Mason, for playing. You get a cheap date with Sancho. Choco Mason, thank you. So let me ask you this. The narrative wars have obviously begun. Here we are in the middle of this Obama scandal, and now the Epstein connection comes out with Trump, and both are like vowing for supremacy in the news headlines, right? So now you see Epstein connection with Trump. You see Ghislaine coming out giving 100 names, and now all the Democrats are screaming at the top of their lungs, release the Epstein files. Do you think in your heart of hearts this is a good thing for Trump or a bad thing for Trump? I tend to think it's almost like a trick play. I think it's going to vindicate Trump, if anything.
Well, I don't think that. I mean, for all indications, Trump was not going to Epstein's island to have sex with children.
Right.
That's not. I mean, I've known Donald Trump for a long time, and the women he seems to be attracted to and marry have all the same characteristics of being, beautiful model-like women, sophisticated, and they're adult women and certainly of age to be of consent and knowledgeably of consent. And so therefore, I don't see that Donald Trump was attracted to the major game of Epstein, which seems to certainly be pedophilia or sex with underage,
right?
Young children or possibly early teenagers. But the point is, the profile doesn't match. And those years, Donald Trump, when he was photographed with Epstein, and was dealing with Epstein. Donald Trump was a celebrity in New York and really considered democratic. He was very popular with the Democrats, and they loved Donald Trump until he ran for president.
Right.
Donald Trump was a celebrity in New York, and attended, for instance, the Metropolitan Museum, and Washington has a gala fundraiser every year, and Donald Trump went to it, and so he was society, but he was not known to have interests in pedophilia or any other of the aberrant sex practices that Epstein seems to have practiced in.
I mean, it's kind of like in my boxing days, there's pictures of me with Don King. That doesn't mean I was affiliated with him. He promoted one of my fights, but that's it. But it's like, it's the same thing. You're going to rub shoulders with very powerful people. Jeffrey Epstein, one of them. He was in those circles of powerful people.
Yeah, Jeffrey, through those years, when he was at the height of his activities, Epstein had access to all kinds of celebrities and political figures and business figures. I mean, across the board. The best understanding of Epstein is that he was a intelligence agent, probably for the CIA, probably Mossad, and most likely Russia too, and that he lived a very high lifestyle. Ghislaine Maxwell herself was Robert Maxwell's daughter, and Robert Maxwell was an agent, largely for Mossad, and again, she comes from that background of spy activities.
Right. So I've noticed recently Trump is bringing into the equation the name Bill Clinton. He's bringing that up a lot lately. He's dropping a lot of hints, and that's usually what Trump does before something big comes out. And I think he's tying them all together with this Epstein files that he's supposedly connected to. I think this is going to be a trick play to where everyone gets exposed except him.
Well, the Bill Clinton, of course, famously, we know that you go into Epstein's apartment in New York, and by the way, it was a very expensive apartment. I've seen it. This was a whole townhouse, which goes for millions and millions of dollars. So he wasn't living there cheaply. And you come in, and the portrait of this painting, is Bill Clinton wearing a dress and high heels, dressed as a woman, slouching in a chair. I mean, I'm sure
in Epstein's apartment.
Yeah, in Epstein's apartment. It's the first thing in Epstein's apartment.
Wow.
If you haven't seen the picture, your producer can search it.
I don't know if Alex, can you bring that picture up? Yeah, you should bring it up.
It's Bill Clinton it's the blue. There he is, right there. That's the picture. That was the painting, and Epstein's entrance to his home with Bill Clinton in drag.
Wow.
Now, what's that picture all about? Okay, that's, so we have a lot to learn here about Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. And from all the Secret Service I've talked to, these two were...
Be careful on this.
Yeah, well, let's just say there's lots that's going to be revealed here. And it's not, the nature of Bill and Hillary and things that Bill has said about Hillary on the record would suggest that they had anything but a normal sexual relationship.
And let's talk more about that on Nino'sCorner.tv because we can get into the details and minutia on that stuff. But let me ask you this. Let's get to Obama. Let's get back to Obama.
Okay.
Could Obama have immunity? If he's impeached, does he lose that immunity? How do you see this developing? How do you see this coming out?
I think, first of all, I'm not sure the country wants to put Obama in prison or hang him for treason.
Right.
I do think, though, that the investigation is going to just reveal his dark side of the truth about his legacy. And I've always believed that Obama was an intelligence agency creation, that he was actually working as an agent for Russia. I mean, certainly I'm still puzzling over the comment that he made to Medvedev when he was running for re-election in 2012, when he said to Medvedev, in my second term, I'll have more flexibility. And that comment was picked up on a microphone when he wasn't, where he's being recorded. Now, that clearly is a signal to he's cooperating secretly with Medvedev and not in the United States' interests, not necessarily in our interests at all. I also think that you're going to find out that Brennan and Clapper were compromised by Russia.
But you don't see justice.
Well, I think there's going to become justice in the court of public opinion. I mean, to put out in the destruction of Obama's legacy, where Obama is now recognized as a traitor that he was. I think it's sufficient that for the country that he be regarded as a traitor. And I think that, that we do not want to get into a series of every president is going to be politically criticized as soon as they're out of office and the other party takes over and they try a criminal investigation of the president. I mean, I think that there has to be some regard for, and at the same time, it's always been a dilemma because if the president of the United States takes out a gun and shoots somebody, he's going to be guilty of murder.
Right.
So you don't get a license in life to, be completely lawlessness and get away with it. And that those standards of morality still would apply to the president as well. So again, it's a complicated issue, but I don't think that there's anything really served by, dragging Obama through a trial and charging him with treason or even impeaching him. He's out of office now. Just destroy his legacy. I think that's good enough.
So Leo Zagami's been on my show, and he said that he laughed when I said that I firmly believe he will be arrested, and I think Trump's going all in on this, but I could be wrong. Leo Zagami said there's no way in hell because it would bring this country into civil unrest or civil war. And if we saw BLM and Antifa and the left protest for George Floyd, what do you think they're going to do for the first Black American president?
Well, it's hard to say because, first of all, I just don't think it's worth taking that risk. I think what is necessary here is, first of all, for the truth to come out. Now, I think there have to be some prosecutions and convictions. Brennan has been a communist for his entire life. He voted for Gus Hall. One of his first elections, Gus Hall was the chairman of the Communist Party of the United States. Brennan actively intervened when he was heading an intelligence investigative unit to go and get the passport records of Obama prior to Obama being president and destroy them. I've written about that. Brennan hated Obama. There's much of my book on coup d'etat about it, where it's becoming aware right now from what's already been released that Brennan was at the center of this Russian collusion conspiracy. So Brennan concocted, along with Clapper, this whole intelligence community assessment that was critical to launching the Russian collusion investigation. I mean, what people don't realize, I write about this extensively in this book, that the last emails, when Julian Assange released the Democratic National Committee emails, what the crux of this is, the emails that were stolen from the Democratic National Committee computers. These were emails that were officially held in the DNC computer and were exchanged between members of the Democratic National Committee and the campaigns of all the various presidential candidates at the time, including Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and everybody else in 2016. Okay, now, when the last of the emails, the date of the last of the emails was in March 2016. So what I took it as that Seth Rich stole the emails as an inside job. He was working as an employee of the DNC, and he was very angry when he learned that Hillary Clinton had done everything possible with Debbie Wasserman Schultz to prevent Bernie Sanders from getting the nomination.
Right.
And there had been a breach of the two computers, and the Hillary people actually stole some of the data from Bernie Sanders from within the computer systems. And Seth Rich was very upset about that.
Seth Rich was actually a Bernie supporter, and he was very upset and disgruntled over the whole thing.
Yes.
Right? Am I getting this right? So, okay.
And so what he did was, late at night, and he was working with the computer. So late at night, he could go into Podesta's office, and Podesta left his password on the desk of his secretary, and his password was probably something like password. I mean,
Yeah.
he had very low security. So Seth Rich would have been able to access the computer. And if he got into the computer, what I knew he would steal would be Podesta's emails, because those would be the mother lode.
Which was the big one.
That's the big ones.
All right, be vague on this, and let me just stop for a second. Alex, don't leave Facebook or X. Let's just keep going on this because the numbers are good. Let's stay. We got about over 5,000 something watching on YouTube, 6,900 in Facebook and X. So we're going good. Don't pull it on Facebook or X, okay, Alex? Okay, go ahead, Jerome.
Okay, well, so that was in March when they were stolen, and it was not until June that the Democratic National Committee admitted to the world that the emails were stolen. There was an article that appeared in the Washington Post that said more emails are going to be released from Hillary, and everybody thought that meant from Hillary's email server. But what happened was as it got into June, the DNC announced that the DNC server had been breached by someone, and they had hired CrowdStrike, which was a cybersecurity firm that was hired by Perkins Coie, who was the law firm for Hillary Clinton. And Hillary Clinton had hired CrowdStrike because they knew CrowdStrike would do a cover-up. CrowdStrike said that they looked at the metadata of the steal, and there was Fancy Bear and these Russian signatures in the metadata, and so therefore they said Russia stole the emails.
Hillary
blame Russia, and that was evidently a concoction from Hillary, although she had other people in her campaign, like a guy named Mook, who was one of her top advisors, MOK, and he had been pushing the Russian collusion theme for a long time. Okay, also around June 2016 is when Christopher Steele begins being hired by this Fusion GPS to do what became the Steele dossier. In other words, they put together these series of lies about Donald Trump, saying he'd had these bizarre sex episodes in Russia, and they had business deals with Putin when he was running the beauty pageant, Miss America beauty pageant, and was held in Russia one of the years when Trump was running the pageant. So he said he was compromised by Putin because he wanted to put a Trump Tower in Moscow, and he had business dealings with Putin. Okay, all this was a lie. The Steele dossier was made up of whole cloth, and that's been proved now, I think, at 100%. And the recent disclosures we had, especially when Tulsi Gabbard released the Nunes report, Devin Nunes had done a report in 2020 on the Russian influence campaign targeting the 2016 presidential campaign in the United States, and it had been suppressed by Haspel, who's head of the CIA. She would not even give it to Donald Trump when he asked to see the report. He wanted to release it to the public. That report makes it clear that Russia wanted Hillary to win, and Russia had dirt on Hillary that they were going to release after she won the election, namely that she did have this psychological disorder. She was heavily taking drugs.
Right.
She was bipolar and would scream at everybody and be angry half the time. And the rest of the time she was giggly up, but she was desperate for power.
Like a borderline crazy bipolar personality.
Taking drugs.
Right.
And alcohol, drinking heavily. Okay, so Hillary was a mess. And probably one of the worst candidates up until Biden and Kamala Harris that the Democrats have ever produced. And she was.
So you really do believe we're going to see no arrests here? You just think it's going to be?
No, we're going to see arrests. We're going to see arrests. We will see. I think that Brennan and Clapper are in serious trouble. I think Comey will give states evidence. I think they'll let Comey do the squealing, and he'll turn in everything on Brennan and everybody else. I think a bunch of them are at risk. Sally Yates, Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice. a lot of people from the FBI who nobody has heard of. I mean, some have heard of some of them, but I think, Comey might get spared because he gives states evidence. People like Rosenthal and just a whole series of Bruce Orr. These people are going to be very deeply implicated, and I think will be indicted.
Let me just get the next winner. Who is the next winner, Alex? Next winner is Sandy Horton. Congratulations, Sandy Horton. Thank you for playing Nino's Concedo, baby. So, when this whole thing that's playing out right now, people want to see justice. People don't want to see people walk. I mean, this is going to be very hard for a lot of people to hear right now. They're going to be very mad. I mean,
I don't think very few people. I think very few people are going to walk. I think that there's going to be a lot of prosecutions, and I think there's going to be a lot of indictments. I think you're going to go very deeply into the FBI.
Do you think any of this goes military? Do you think any of this goes into tribunals or anything like that?
It could if they begin to investigate, but that's later. See, the Russian collusion was mostly FBI and NSA and intelligence agencies, and a number of the people involved in all those circles are vulnerable for criminal indictment. The fundamental reality is that the Steele dossier was a lie. And I've got a bookshelf full of books written by Democratic operatives who were insisting that there was Russian collusion. Okay, it was all a lie. And what was released already by Tulsi Gabbard makes it clear that the Democrats knew it was a lie. And they persecuted Trump on this anyway, starting in 2016, before the election, and then continuing, 2018, August 28th was when the FBI knocked on my front door 3 days before my 72nd birthday. And it didn't end until March 2019. So for 3 years, Russian collusion, including until the last years of Donald Trump's first term, Russian collusion was the theme every day.
Right. Which neutralized to a big degree his presidency, which is what they wanted to do, is keep him busy bobbing and weaving, having to fight off the Russia collusion hoax. And that would essentially neutralize his presidency. And then we go into 2020 and we know what happened then. They took it.
The Democratic strategy in 2016, when Trump was elected, and they were all shocked that he was elected, was
they're shocked again, aren't they?
Yeah, it was to resist him. And in 2016, the resistance was pretty strong. In 2024, the resistance is deeply wounded and weakened. And so therefore, the second term, and Trump's smarter. He knows more of the games of Washington, D.C. So he's less vulnerable to being manipulated. He's more direct and more going after things hard and knowing what he's doing.
He's playing offense now. It's offense. He's going in.
And smarter, because he knows how Washington operates now. And he knows what a dirty place it is and how few people you can trust. The people who come and say they're going to help you and they're on your side, it's best just to assume everybody in Washington is lying,
right? And
then try to figure out why they're lying and what they want. But the point is that the way this is going, and I think we're going to get, we're certainly being teased that we're now going to get more emails dropped, more data dropped on Hillary's involvement creating the Russian collusion hoax, and an investigation's been opened of Hillary's private email server. Now, Hillary might face criminal charges on that. I think that's increasingly likely that she's going to be indicted over the misuse of her server and private email server, because again, when Comey excused Hillary, he said that she had been, careless in how she used State Department security procedures, but he said she didn't intend to release these materials or didn't intend to commit a crime. Well, intention is not in the law. It's just releasing classified material, even if it's accidental, is potentially a crime. There's a submariner who was taking pictures of a nuclear submarine. He happened to take pictures of some of the classified material regarding the nuclear reactors or the atomic weapons on the submarines, and he's in prison.
Yes.
He didn't mean to photograph those and release them, but he did. And just the doing of it is the crime, not the intent.
So let's switch gears just for a second. Let's talk about Ghislaine Maxwell. You know, she gave the DOJ info about 100 different people linked to Jeffrey Epstein. Lawyer says notorious sex criminal Ghislaine Maxwell answered questions from Justice Department officials about 100 different people linked to the predator Jeffrey Epstein. An attorney for the disgraced socialite claimed Friday, following 2 days of interrogation led by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanchet. What's your thoughts on this? Where do you think this is going to go, Jerome? I know you're following this as well. Where do you see this going? Do you see this vindicating Trump?
Yes, I think Trump was not. I'm confident if there was material on Trump, it would have been released already.
They would have released it in 2016 and 2020,
sure.
wouldn't they? I mean, even in the 24 election.
If Trump had been really involved with Epstein's escapades, we'd already have that information out. So I don't think he was involved. I think the big hits are going to happen to the Clintons, who were both involved, and to the British royal family, Prince Andrew, and I think it'll come out that King Charles was also involved. And the damage going to be done that's going to be done to the royal family in Great Britain is massive.
But I mean, besides reputation, you don't see these people being arrested. I mean, it already seems to me like in the background, there's already takedowns happening with Stephen Colbert's show and you know, Trump saying Jimmy Kimmel's next. You know, the National Public Radio CEO stepped down. There's people stepping down, and we saw this in 2020 when a lot of CEOs were stepping down. So I kind of feel there is an operation happening in the background. Jerome, do you?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the background.
Okay,
but we don't. Yeah, I do, and I'm not sure what it is yet, but I know that this is going to be a very wide-ranging investigation, and it will cover both Russian collusion and Hillary's email server.
But you do agree there's an operation in the background?
Oh yes, no question about it.
And be very vague because it is YouTube, but you've even said there's generals behind Trump, correct?
Yes, I mean, I have, but I don't think that that's operative right at the moment. I think right now everybody's secure that Trump is president, and I don't think there's any move. This is up to 2020, and even through Biden's first couple years, the deep state was in a very strong position. The deep state got crippled with the pandemic and the lockdown when it became clear that the pandemic.
Be careful.
Well, that's when they got crippled. That's when they got crippled. Okay, but you can see. But look at the censorship that's still out there.
I know. I hate it.
The attempt to quash the truth is still massive, right. And that's where the mainstream media and you know, the social media, I think, are again going to lose the interest of the public. It certainly have much more than certainly the mainstream media has. But the point is that yes, I think there'll be indictments. I think the investigation could go on for a couple of years. I'm not sure that this will be instant.
Right. But don't you think it has to happen within Trump's presidency? It has to happen within these next 3.5 years. And before you answer that, let me just get to this real quick, folks. Get your collagen, baby. A recent report found that nearly half of all popular protein powders contain unsafe levels of heavy metals like lead and cadmium, such of which exceed California safety limits. If you care about the quality of your protein powder, that's a daily dose of toxins you never asked for. This is why I use my amazing powder, and I'll never go back to store-bought protein. It's a daily scoop of 24 grams of clean, grass-fed protein per serving. That's lab-tested for potency and purity. It helps me gain muscle, have more energy, supports a faster metabolism, and keeps me feeling fuller longer, folks. This low-carb protein powder comes in several award-winning, mouth-watering ice cream flavors. That's pretty good. And helps support lean muscle, enhance energy levels, curb cravings, manage weight, and much more. Take control of your skin and keep it young looking this summer by grabbing yourself a free bag. You heard that right. It's plus your free bag also comes with a VIP live health and fitness coaching for life and an ebook titled 15 first belly milkshake recipes. Go there and get it, folks. That's collagen. Get your collagen. You got to look young. So, Jerome, so how do you expect this next? And Jerome, you're going to be the general in the general tent on ninoscorner.tv, correct?
Sure, I'll be happy to do.
I think I asked you. Didn't I ask you earlier?
No.
Okay, well, all right. I thought I did, man.
But I'll be happy. I'll be happy to do it once you explain to me what it is. I'll be happy.
You just take questions from the audience.
I'll be happy to do it. Sure.
Yeah, you take questions from the audience. It's on ninoscorner.tv, and I guess we could do it for August. Do you want to do it August?
Yeah, August is great. We'll do it.
All right, I'll text you and we'll lock down a date, and so you'll be the general in the general's tent, August.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Awesome, cool. So let me ask you this: so you don't think? What do you think? How do you think these next few months are going to transpire? What's going to transpire here? Do you see Obama getting perp walked? Do you see? It looks like Trump has declared war on the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell. I mean, it looks like he's out for blood.
Well, Trump. What's happening? First of all, specifically, right immediately, we're going to get more information and more documents released. And the documents are going to be shocking, and they're going to have seismic effects against the Democratic Party. Okay, what's going to become obvious to the American people is the Democratic Party was treasonous.
So my prediction is no more Democratic Party. I think it's going to be.
I think the Democratic Party is done. I think it, and this plus Act Blue, which I'm about to expose.
Yeah, be careful on that. We could talk about that on ninoscorner.tv.
Yeah, well, I think we have to talk about everything at Nino's Corner TV because, and I also think the censorship is about to end. Trump will be taking an axe to these, social media channels next.
Yeah,
but many things are changing right now. We're in a shift of eras from an era where we were, compliant. Everybody was obedient and compliant, and we're fed nothing but lies. And the mainstream media was nothing but a mouthpiece, a mockingbird mouthpiece for the CIA, paid and delivering CIA messages. And the CIA, from its inception, was wanting to create a one world government and saw the United States as transitional.
Right.
Okay. So they were never loyal to the United States. John Dulles and John Foster, Alan Dulles, who ran the CIA, and his brother John Foster Dulles, as Secretary of State, were globalists from the very beginning. And they wanted a one world government. And they both, at Brown Brothers Harriman prior to World War II, were funding Hitler from Wall Street. We funded Hitler. Okay. And it was these guys, the Dulles brothers, who were right at the center of that, plus Prescott Bush, who is the father of George H.W. Bush, was funding Nazis and running a Nazi bank called Union Bank that had to be closed after Pearl Harbor. And this is all true. And so we're going to find, if you take a look, I encourage people, you can download the Nunes report. It's about 44 pages long, but it's paragraph after paragraph is just shocking. Okay. Not that we didn't know these things, but we now have them validated. And what's shocking, this information has been suppressed since 2020. So, I can read almost any paragraph at random from the Nunes report. The CIA offered no reliable intelligence that indicated or implied that Putin issued orders to conduct influence operations that denigrated Clinton with the goal of electing Trump. That's right there. So, this report says everyone involved in the Russian collusion promoting it,
but
was lying.
Right. But you see Trump putting people on blast on his social media, on Truth Social, things like that. He's putting Oprah out there. He's putting out some big names.
Well, Oprah was also involved. Oprah, okay, the Jeffrey Epstein is only one part of what was going on. You've also got, Harvey Weinstein,
right,
who is also into young girls, and the young girls procured for him involved people like, it appears to involve Oprah. Okay, well, that's certainly the allegations.
Okay.
Okay, and that, they had to get, his deal was to have these women give him sexual massages.
Okay.
Okay, and so therefore, someone had to be found to do that.
Right.
And convinced to do it. And he had a profile of the kind of woman he wanted, which was, again, young and naive.
Right.
And he had this whole, whatever his fantasies were that he was living out, were, again, he's in prison over what he did to women. And so therefore, Oprah and these others who were the glitterati around him were involved. And the other part that will come out about Epstein is that he was involved in some very deeply dark satanic cults. And a lot of this stuff that was being exhibited that we know about was cult behavior.
Right. And that's what people are not willing to accept yet. They don't really understand that. It's how deep this stuff goes. Let me get the third winner here. Somewhere in time, you're the third winner for the gift card giveaway. Thank you so much for playing. So, you see people like Nicole Kidman, and you see like Nicole Kidman is now next to flee Trump's U.S. after applying for residency in Europe. There's a lot of big. Ellen DeGeneres is another one that's in UK. I mean, these people are getting the hell out of Dodge. Do you think they see what's coming?
Sure. I mean, they know what's coming. I mean,
what's coming, Jerome?
Well, look, first of all, Nicole Kidman was in that movie Eyes Wide Open, and all the sexual nuances in that movie were all it was a reveal of what really is going on behind the scenes. Okay, so there's been a telegraphing for some time of the satanic nature. I published this novel by Craig Lund, Silicon Satan. And I encourage people to read it.
Where do they get that, on Amazon?
Amazon's on Amazon, Silicon Satan. And it shows you that those who succeed at the highest levels in Silicon Valley are part of a satanic cult. And it involves all kinds of bizarre behaviors, including
now, do you think, since you wrote that book, do you think?
No, I didn't write this one. I published it. Craig Lund is the author, and he lived through it. He was in Silicon Valley as a programmer, was a very brilliant programmer, and he was being recruited to become one of the big figures in Silicon Valley. But he and his wife participated in all these satanic rituals.
Oh, they actually participated?
Yes, and then he got out of it and wrote this book, but he has subsequently been again persecuted. And
is he a Christian now, or
yes? And he managed to get out of it, but having written the book and making it public, he's now under attack personally again.
So let me ask you this, Jerome. Let's pivot into that now, since I got you here. Is this just very powerful elite people that are bored of life and they need something to get them off, or is it a real religion to these people where they really do believe in Satan, Lucifer, they do worship the devil? What is it here? I'm trying to. That's where I'm kind of like trying to figure this out. Is it just boredom for these people, or are they really, really worshiping Lucifer and having these ceremonies, paying homage to this god?
They're worshiping Lucifer, and they believe Lucifer is ruling the world and that he's in charge, and so they are seeking his power, and they ultimately believe that they can become.
So what do they? How do they view God then? I don't understand this. Like, so what is God? Is God to them really the bad one in this story?
God is dead to them, and God is God. It's the Garden of Eden. God failed. He didn't make this place perfect. And he doesn't want you to eat of the tree of knowledge, because then you would know what he knows, and he failed. But Satan says, I can make it perfect. Just follow me. Okay, just obey me. Now, Satan is father of lies. And what you get with Satan, and the practices here, these people kill babies and eat babies.
Yeah.
They frighten babies to produce this almost kind of like a narcotic of their blood.
Yeah, I know what it is. Don't say that here.
Yeah, I know you can't.
I'm writing down everything you say. I'm writing down on paper to come back and edit it.
Yeah, you have to edit the whole thing.
Like, I got a whole paper full of stuff here.
They gotta give you 45 strikes on YouTube.
I know,
interview.
man. This is crazy. So I got to get in. Yeah, but so do you think? I mean, as this persists, I do believe that something's going to happen with the 2020. You know what? I don't even like to say that name on here, but 2020 is going to get walked back. I believe. And does that mean that Trump could go for a third term?
I don't think Trump is going to go for a third term. I don't think he aspires to it. I think he's going to be happy with this term and doing what he can with this term. I don't see that he. If he waits 3 more years, he's going to be 82 years old. I don't think he wants to be president until he's 86. I think that would be unwise for anyone to try to imagine they're going to stay young and vital. Yeah. Even Donald Trump to 86 is going to have, some diminution of capabilities and not quite frankly want to do it.
Right.
Or to be able to do it at the level he's currently doing it.
So who would be his successor, do you think? I mean,
I think Vance is the logical successor, I believe. And Vance, I think, will run for president in 2028.
But do you think a new party arises and we could have a something? What was the party that Elon Musk is touting now?
No, Musk has pretty well ruined his political chances, and Musk. It was stupid to have that interview he did in the Oval Office with his child while Trump sat at his desk. That was a kiss of death.
And Trump he had a black eye. He had a black eye, which
black eye is also black. Well, if according to Craig Lund, it's one of the advanced ceremonies in the satanic cult.
So is that's what he was showing? He was paying homage to them?
There is a black eye involved in it. There's pictures of a lot of prominent people with black eyes very much like that. And they are evidently required to exhibit that black eye for a while.
Wow.
So there's a lot of the pedophilia and the satanic cults have a lot of communications that are only understood by those within the cult.
Got you.
Okay, and so these are signals, they're telegraphing, they're communications, and a lot of the suicides are not suicides. A lot of the destructions of people, the killings, the murders of them are murders because they wanted to leave the Satanism, or they didn't, stay true to the oaths they had sworn. I mean, this is Satanism.
This is what runs the world. This is who runs the world, correct?
Well, I would say that it's always been a subculture. You have Faustian legends going back very deeply in history. And so therefore it's always been a subculture. What's different is that it has become a dominant culture for many of the elites, political elites, business elites, Hollywood elites, etc. And it always combines, sex, drugs, and bizarre behavior, very destructive, bizarre behavior, inclines towards murder, death, destruction, because again, it's the embrace of the death cult rather than life. Only God can give life. And so the satanic personality hates God and then hates life.
Right. They're there to destroy it. Or this whole agenda with it's leading to transhumanism, or they want to make it in their image. Satan wants to make now human beings God's gift.
Follow me. God knows we could be perfect. I'll show you how to be transhuman and live forever.
Yeah.
So, I've written 2 books in what I plan to be a trilogy. The first one was called The Truth About Energy, Global Warming, and Climate Change.
Okay, be careful on that subject too.
Yeah.
Let's just this has been an hour. We've done great, Jerome. I think let's take it back to Nino's Corner.tv. You want to do another interview there in the next week?
Sure.
And then I'll bring you on as the general in the general's tent for ninoscorner.tv.
Yeah, people can ask questions and all kinds of things.
Yes, let's do that. So, folks, get to ninoscorner.tv. We'll be doing another interview there, and he's going to be the general in the general's tent, August. Jerome, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
You've been an amazing guest. You're so full of knowledge. You're a wealth of knowledge, and I know my audience really appreciated you and loved you.
Well, it's my pleasure to be with you. And check out my websites at gods5stones.com. God, no apostrophe in the S. 5, you spell it FIVE, and stones, it's plural. And my podcasts are on CoursyNation.com.
Gods5stones.com. I'll put that down in the link here. All right, folks. All right, Jerome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you.
God bless.
All right, folks. Let's get to some quick border news here. Green card holders turned U.S. citizens risk losing citizenship for underreporting income on a tax return. Green card holders who have become American citizens are facing the risk of losing their U.S. citizenship. The U.S. Department of Justice has set up a top priority for the revocation of U.S. citizenship and prioritizing denaturalization as outlined in recently issued memorandum to enforcement authorities. Wow. Naturalization is the process of granting U.S. citizenship to lawful permanent residents or green card holders who meet Congress's INA's requirements, allowing them to legally reside permanently within the U.S. Denaturalization is the official revocation of a person's U.S. citizenship resulting from illegal acquisition or deliberate misrepresentation during application and examination, or material facts are not disclosed. Everything the boomerang, folks. This is the boomerang happening right here. Sinaloa cartel is quickly losing territories and influence, Mexico says. San Diego. Mexico's Secretary of Defense says the Sinaloa cartel is quickly losing its power, territories, and influence in Mexico, adding that its downfall began in earnest when one of its leaders, Ismael El Mayo Zapata, was arrested in the United States last year. The cartel Jalisco Nueva Generación has been reportedly carving into the Sinaloa cartel's domain in several Mexican states, including Chiapas, Sonora, Jalisco, and Chihuahua. Other cartels such as La Línea and Los Beltrán La Vega are also taking territories away from their counterparts in the Sinaloa cartel. Órale! All right, U.S. Border Patrol. U.S. Border Patrol El Paso sector has released a video using the viral Coldplay Kiss Cam footage to troll illegal immigrants. So the Coldplay Kiss, I went to the Coldplay concert, folks. I'm going to tell you this. It was awesome. I had the best time. It was I got to say, it was the most epic concert I've ever been to. I've been to U2, Pearl Jam. I've been to ACL. The best concert, hands down for me, was Coldplay. And I mean it. Coldplay was epic. Everyone had lighted bracelets. It was one energy, man. It was just so amazing. I'll put some more of the videos I recorded at the concert on my X account, but it was just an epic. I love concerts. I love live music. I love it more than sporting events, although I've been going to baseball games recently. So they put this video up, a Coldplay concert at Foxborough, Minnesota earlier this month. The Jumbotron caught a couple cuddling and hiding from the kiss cam, prompted the singer Chris Martin to call them out. And we've all seen this, right? This went viral. The clip went viral online, and the pair was identified as astronomer CEO Andy Byron and HR manager Christine Cabot, both of whom have since resigned. That's the worst concert they've ever gone to. I think it was my favorite concert, but for them, it was the worst. Oh, man. Anyway, the Border Patrol now is putting up this video and then showing the Border. Yeah, there they are, showing the Border Patrol walking in on immigrants. And I think this is it right here. Yeah, they're walking in. Oh, later. We're out of here. Orale. Bye-bye. Adios, amigos. All right, folks. I don't know. Did we get the fourth winner yet, Alex? All right. Paul's Pods and Marine Ornamentals. Wow. Paul's Pods and Marine Ornamentals. That sounds like a cool little business. $25 gift card winner, folks. So if you're watching this live on Facebook and X and all that good stuff, if it's on YouTube, this is on YouTube, obviously, it's going to be edited. So right after this show, my editor is going to get in there and probably has a lot of work to do. So she'll be in there doing that right after this show. That's the only way I stay up on the fluff tube. Sorry, I have to do it. But I will take the original version of this video and put it up on ninoscorner.tv. So you will see the original version of this show on ninoscorner.tv. Let's get to some what the fuck news, shall we? Yeah, here we go. In what the fuck news, Americans spend nearly half their day online. Whether it's work or play, eye-opening poll shows. Wired Americans spend nearly half of their day online, splitting the time almost evenly between watching videos or TV shows and working, browsing, and shopping, according to a new survey. Nobody just takes a fucking walk anymore. This new survey is eye-opening, said Eric Bruno, Senior Vice President of Product Management for Optimum, whose telecommunications firm interviewed 2,000 U.S. residents who have a home internet subscription or any company for the poll. We were amazed to see how many hours folks are watching, shopping, and browsing online on a daily basis, Bruno told the Post. It underscores how important a strong, affordable, and reliable internet has become in today's world. On average, screen zombie Americans spend more than 10 hours a day. 10 hours, this is on average, daily accessing the web. They spend 5.4 of those hours browsing, working, gaming, looking at social media, reading emails, or paying bills, the survey found. They spend another 5 hours a day streaming video or TV content. So basically, nobody goes to the gym anymore. Nobody's taking a walk. Nobody's going to a restaurant with friends to interact. That's why the clubs and bar business is failing, because everyone's online. That's why the strip clubs are failing, which I know a lot of you are probably like, big deal. But there's no human interaction anymore. And what happens when AI starts getting really, really big? Folks, there's already people having relationships with Chat GPT, okay? It's already happening. I don't see how this is going in a good direction. Now, call me the buzzkill, David Downer, whatever you want to call me the David Downer. But all I'm saying is this doesn't look good for humanity. That's all I'm saying. The majority of people, 55%, use their televisions to screen or to stream shows or movies, followed by 20% with mobile phones and 25% combined using laptop or desktop computers or tablets. And I will say this. I don't even like going out in public. I don't trust people anymore. There's too many weirdos. I don't know if any of you watch Joy B. Tunes, but it's like he does a great commentary on where the degeneration of society. And it's true. There's wackos everywhere. Everywhere you go, someone's dancing in front of their phone or doing a video. You go to the gym now, people are on their phones looking at themselves. It's fucking weird. Never seen anything like this in my life. Humanity has changed. I would have to say after the year, 2010, it really started to shift. And then after the year 2015, and then boom, it just took off. Alex, you there?
I'm here, Nino.
What do you think, dude? When do you think we really saw that shift in human, interactions, human connection? I think it was like 2010. It started teetering, and then 2015, boom, it just changed.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And then 2015 to 2019 was kind of interesting. Things were really ramping up, and then 2020, with everything that happened, then they started people became more isolated. It's like there was kind of a boom, and then suddenly this like massive,
dude, I'm even an introvert now. I find myself like seeing somebody I know in public and like, oh, I don't want to talk, and going the other way. Like everyone's becoming more closed off and introverted. Like I don't know if that's just because I'm getting older, but I knew back in the day, dude, I used to love to talk to people and socialize. Now I'm like, like Smeagol.
Yeah, no, I mean, you get conscious more of like where your energy is going and like who, what type of people are that you're interacting with, sometimes it's just not really worth it. And like those people from your past that were friends or were acquaintances that you knew, it's like,
but dude, it really happened after 2020 because that's when everything switched over to Zoom.
Yeah.
Like everyone just started going on the internet more and doing Zooms and meetings, and everyone was scared to go outside. And now everyone just does everything through Zoom.
Yeah. Remote work, like people leaving the office and a lot more, you know, the work culture changing in that way. And yeah, man, now guys are, you know, having Chat GPT as their girlfriend. Dudes are getting dumped by Chat GPT already.
You're
like,
kidding me, dude.
Can you imagine that?
Oh my Lord, man. Wow. Is that really happening? They're getting dumped?
I read an article. Yeah, I saw an article about it. I didn't read the whole thing, but
man, you're a real loser then.
That's so rock bottom. Yeah.
That's like the worst. I don't even know. Like my artificial intelligence girlfriend dumped me because why? I mean, fuck, she doesn't even want you. Jesus. Wow. Well, Alex, I don't know if you could take out some of the words that were in there. I don't know if you can, but
yeah, me and Britta.
There's a lot in this one, man. I think this was a great podcast.
Yeah, it was. It was really good. It was, yeah. Jerome's just a great guest and really clearly lays things out. But the topics are a little bit, you know, still.
Yeah, they're still fringe, man.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks, please share, like, and subscribe. And go to ninoscorner.tv. It's half off right now, half off. And I also put a pinned comment talking about C60, folks. This stuff works. Eon C60, give it a shot. Order some. Your inflammation will go away. My back feels great. So this stuff works. And I know it's not all in my mind because I was off it for 5 months and my back pain came right back. And then right when I got on this, in a week's time, no back pain. So,
wow.
All right, folks, please like, share, and subscribe. And thank you very much for joining us this podcast. I think it was awesome. Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Nino. See you.
And the new heavyweight champion of podcasting and the black sheep of broadcasting, folks. Ha!